Yes, Prabhu, you can start. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You can make me co-host.
Sorry, Prabhu, forgot.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vandita Tunga Vidya Mataji Manasya.
Audio. Start my audio now muted alert. Video settings.
Radhika Mataji, just help with the background sound.
I am just.
Oh, sorry, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Now the stream
Prabhu.
feels familiar.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Take this.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswate vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashtapraeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatir uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjanam Shalakaya Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagarajata Sahagana Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachahini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Mataji, welcome to this morning's discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam as part of the Bhakti Vaibhav session. So, we concluded a huge section and a very important one in terms of the teachings of Bhishma Dev, and the chapter was long, plus there were some gaps in between which caused us to take quite a few weeks to complete this chapter. And with this chapter 9, we also conclude the unit 1 of Bhakti Vaibhav course, where the first canto is divided from chapter 1 till chapter 9 as the unit 1, and from chapter 10 onwards, which begins mainly with the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthir, the religious way in which Maharaj Yudhishthir ruled the entire kingdom, and how it made the whole kingdom prosperous. What was his vision and the principles of leadership from the life of Maharaj Yudhishthir that we can learn. And this chapter is specifically entitled Departure of Lord Krishna from Hastinapur for Dwaraka. And if you see next chapter, which is chapter 11, it is entitled Entrance of Lord Krishna into Dwaraka. What is the exact title? Is it entrance or arrival? Can anyone confirm? Yeah, Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwaraka. So basically, if we consider chapters like, say, for example, chapters covering Narad Muni's pastime, like Narad Muni's teaching to Vyasadeva, we see that not only many yugas, more than one kalpa is covered in those pastimes. That means a very long span of time is covered between what is happening now and what Narad Muni is narrating, the incidents in Brahma's previous kalpa, Brahma's previous day. But as far as that means, a very long span of time is covered in a short number of texts within Srimad Bhagavatam. However, in these two chapters that we see, chapter 10 and chapter 11, there is an expansion of time. That means a very short period of time is described across two chapters. Chapter 10 describes about departure of Lord Krishna from Dwaraka, how he was given a send-off by Yudhishthir Maharaj and the Pandavas. And even after Lord Krishna's departure, how the residents of Hastinapur, especially the ladies of Hastinapur, how did they discuss about the glories of Lord Krishna, his glorious activities and his glorious qualities. Similarly, we also hear about the eagerness of the residents of Dwaraka when the news of Lord Krishna's arrival was broken to them. And they were so much in anticipation of receiving the Lord. In fact, in the earlier discussion we saw, it is explained that the Dwaraka Vasis, they were just like a body without the soul, literally waiting for the return of Lord Krishna, withholding their breath. So, and we also see in Kunti Maharani section how Kunti Maharani was always in double minds, whether to let Krishna go because the Dwarka Vasis have been so eagerly waiting for him, but then how about herself and the Pandavas, or whether to make Krishna stay back for some more time for their own contentment and protection, but then Dwarka Vasis would be bereft of the Lord's association. So that is the eagerness of the Lord's devotee, both in union with the Lord, and second in separation from the Lord. So one is about experiencing the intense feeling of separation, vipralamba from the Lord, and another is about anticipation of meeting the Lord, the sambhoga, the union with the Lord, meeting the Lord in person. And there are also various other aspects, as I mentioned in the earlier part of our discussion, about Maharaj Yudhishthir's rule with the religious principles, with Lord Krishna in the center. In fact, there is a very important two words mentioned in the third text. We'll go through as the text comes to explain what was the crux of Maharaj Yudhishthir's leadership. Vandita Tunga Vidya Mataji, you have any question? You have raised your hand.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Exam time,
I've answered her, Prabhu. She called me. Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
okay, fine. Hare
after
Krishna.
class I will write, Prabhuji.
Yes, that's fine. Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
All right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Prabhuji,
Shama Gopika Mataji.
yeah, today's attendance link is not shared.
It will be shared, Mataji.
Okay.
Rohini Mataji is there today, so
Okay.
she will share.
Prabhuji, if all have written exam, should I share the attendance link? Because
Prabhuji, I have not written actually.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
wait,
I joined
so-
late.
Wait. Let me answer. The attendance is for the session, Rohini Mataji, not for the exam. Okay.
okay, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so let's proceed. Prema Priya Jayashri Mataji, you attend after the session if you are comfortable or next time.
No, I'll attend after the exam, after the session, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, I've already informed everybody. After the session, they will write the exam. Just repeating.
Sure. So let's continue the session without, diverting, otherwise it breaks the link. So in chapter 1, we had done the categorization, not chapter 1, Canto 1, we had done the categorization in 3 sections of Canto 1. First section was the initial inquiries by the sages of Naimisharanya to Sutta Goswami and the response to those initial inquiries, to those 6 questions by Sutta Goswami to the sages of Naimisharanya. And we discussed how after these 6 questions were answered to their satisfaction, though briefly by Sutta Goswami, the sages of Naimisharanya continued to inquire further, specifically asking about understanding the history of Srimad Bhagavatam. How did Srimad Bhagavatam come about? Because that was the answer to the 6th question. Where did the religious principles take shelter after the conclusion of Lord Krishna's pastimes in this world? So in continuation to that, the next inquiries were initiated by the sages of Naimisharanya. And in the history of Srimad Bhagavatam, the sages of Naimisharanya also wanted to hear about the speaker, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva, as well as the primary hearer of Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj. So in the last few discussions, we discussed about the inspiration of Vyasadeva to write Srimad Bhagavatam, and as part of answer by his own spiritual master, Narad Muni's previous life, and how the association of the pure devotees of the Lord greatly transformed his life. And then we started with the history of the primary hearer of Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaj Parikshit, specifically starting with his birth, which meant we discussed about how Ashwatthama, one after another, he committed many grievous offenses, mistakes, in order to try and firstly please his master Duryodhan and later on save his own life at the cost of sinful activities. So we discussed that. Then we discussed how in the end, when Lord Krishna was about to depart from Hastinapur, how Uttara came in a very desperate situation to Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna saved the child within the womb of Uttara, and subsequent prayers by Kunti Devi offering heartfelt prayers of gratitude for all the favors and protection that had been bestowed by Lord Krishna to Pandavas and the family. So birth of Parikshit Maharaj is more or less taken care. Now we see Lord Krishna concluding his purpose of coming to Hastinapur and departing for Dwaraka. And there also will come subsequent discussion in Bhagavatam first canto, where Arjuna, he decides to go and visit Dwaraka in order to meet his friend. And what all updates does he find after visiting Dwaraka? That means few days after Krishna's departure for Dwaraka. And subsequent immediate display of renunciation, not display, but demonstration is the right word. Demonstration of complete renunciation by the Pandavas when they understand that Lord Krishna has wound up his pastimes in this world. And the entrance of Kali, as soon as Lord Krishna wound his pastimes in this world and departed for the spiritual world. And how Pandavas handed over the kingdom to the last heir in the Pandava family after them. At that point in time, Maharaj Parikshit and departed towards north, and the glorious activities of Maharaj Parikshit, because this was also a topic of inquiry by the sages of Naimisharanya, the birth and activities of Maharaj Parikshit. Specifically, his activities are mentioned in terms of Maharaj Parikshit chastising Kali, the Kali Purusha, and subsequently when he was unfairly cursed by the immature son of the Brahmana, Shungi, Maharaj Parikshit's glorious response to the situation and arrival of Shukadev Goswami to speak Srimad Bhagavatam. So basically arrival of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so this is how Canto 1 will proceed. And what is special about Canto 1? Quite a few things. One important thing we discussed in our earlier discussions is of all the different cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, they are described to different bodily limbs of the Lord. And first and second canto are specifically mentioned as the lotus feet of the Lord. This is one significance, and we also discussed that when we take darshan of the deity of the Lord, we should always start with the lotus feet of the Lord, and then we gradually go up till the lotus face, and that's how we should proceed. So similarly, Prabhupada mentions that one should study Srimad Bhagavatam in a sequential manner, canto by canto, chapter by chapter. That is the proper way to study Srimad Bhagavatam. And second significance of Canto 1 is that we also discussed Srila Prabhupada when he started giving his commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, he was already in his advanced age. Basically, when he started for US, Prabhupada had the 3 volumes of Canto 1 with him. So he was almost 69 at that particular point in time. And Prabhupada, when he started, he wasn't sure how long of a time he would have to give Srimad Bhagavatam to all of us. So he wanted to make sure that in case there is an untimely departure of his own self, that means if he has to depart from this world earlier on, at least devotees should have first canto, and that will be enough to guide us to go back home, back to Godhead. So Prabhupada says whatever is needed to go back home, back to Godhead, every single thing he has covered as part of his commentary to Canto 1. So all of this makes Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1 very, very special. And even within ISKCON, amongst all the books of Srila Prabhupada, even among different cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1 is the only canto which is sold even as a separate book as part of book distribution. So along with Srimad Bhagavatam set also it is available, and also it is available as a separate canto, Canto 1. So with this as the background, because we are moving to a different section now, till now we were mainly focusing on the history of Bhagavatam. Now we are moving to the rule of Pandavas led by Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yeah, so the link between chapter 9 and chapter 10. In chapter 9, we saw Bhishmadev basically passing out from this world in a glorious manner, teaching us so many things, what all of you are writing as part of the exam, as part of how one should prepare oneself during the life, as well as, I don't know why. Yeah. Prepare oneself for the ultimate exam while we are living in this world, and how to face the last exam in terms of proper remembrance on the Lord without any other distraction, giving up all his earlier duties and responsibilities that we discuss in chapter 9. And chapter 9 concludes basically that after the departure of Bhishmadev, how Yudhishthira Maharaj was briefly grief-stricken And it is quite emotional even for the reader to see how such a great personality who was teaching wisdom even till his last breath, how he completely withdrew his senses, and then at one point in time, after his offering of the prayers to the Lord through his dhyana, through his meditation, he stopped breathing and all the activities of his body stopped. That means he left this world. So it was quite natural for Yudhishthir Maharaj, who had Bhishmadev, and apart from Bhishmadev, Vidura as the guardian, as the loving guardian, since very childhood. So the senior most of the Kuru dynasty from Yudhishthir Maharaj's time had departed. And it is explained that after performing the last funeral rites of Bhishmadev, how Yudhishthir Maharaj proceeded to Hastinapur to give solace and comfort to Gandhari and Dhritarashtra, who were also afflicted because of Bhishmadev's departure. And then chapter 10 begins with Yudhishthir Maharaj beginning to apply the instruction of Bhishmadev, where Bhishmadev explained to him so nicely that, my dear Yudhishthir, consider all that has happened as the influence of the very powerful time factor and as the will of the Lord. So don't consider yourself responsible for all this. Progress from this situation to fulfill the will of the Lord. And Yudhishthir Maharaj takes that instruction of his great grandfather Bhishmadev and begins to rule the kingdom. There are very specific words that are mentioned in text 3, which we will see, where how Yudhishthir Maharaj ruled the kingdom based on the instructions of two personalities, Bhishma and Achyuta, Lord Krishna. So we'll come to that. So that is the link between chapter 9 and chapter 10. Then in chapter 10, there are multiple sections. So first section is about the religious way in which the kingdom was ruled by Maharaj Yudhishthir as an ideal king, and it describes in great detail how such a rule can actually bring about prosperity for the kingdom even in an age of degradation. We also see this in the rule of the great, the grandson of Maharaj Yudhishthir, Parikshit Maharaj. So even at his time as well, we will see in the subsequent portion. The next section of this particular chapter describes how after the departure of Lord Krishna, the residents of both Hastinapur as well as Dwarka, what were their feelings, specifically the residents of Hastinapur describing about Lord's glorious qualities and pastimes, and how Lord was appropriately honored before his departure. And the ladies discussing Lord's glorious activities, pastimes, and how Lord proceeded towards Dwaraka. And as I mentioned, in the next chapter, it will begin with the residents of Dwaraka, how eager they were and their grand reception on arrival of Lord Krishna. So let's cover all this one by one. The conditions during the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthir will discuss. Then identify the general principles of leadership that Srila Prabhupada establishes regarding the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthir. So as part of Srila Prabhupada's commentary and purport to the initial text of this particular chapter, Prabhupada goes into great detail how the ruler should rule the kingdom and some of the deficiencies of the modern administration system, which causes lot of pain, suffering, and discontent for the subjects in general. In fact, all of you will be pleasantly surprised. I don't know, have any one of you visited Prabhuji's, Mataji's, the museum, I don't know whether it is called museum, just beside Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan, where in a very nice glass cabinets, various items of Srila Prabhupada are preserved. In the
Yes,
room,
Prabhuji.
you have
Yes,
seen,
Prabhu.
right?
Yes, Prabhu.
So in those glass cabinets, which are on display in the room in which Srila Prabhupada departed from this material world, those of you who haven't visited, you may sometime definitely plan to go there. It is very, very inspiring and faith-giving. You would find, I believe it is in Vrindavan, I'm not confusing between, because there is a similar display of Srila Prabhupada's personal items, even in Srila Prabhupada's quarters in Mayapur as well. And in Vrindavan, where he departed, there also we have some of Srila Prabhupada's items. So in Vrindavan, there is one handwritten diary by Srila Prabhupada on which we can see Prabhupada's handwriting. And on one page, which is on display in one of the glass cabinets in that museum, we see 13 different points, if I remember the number 1 to 13 different points, which Srila Prabhupada had written systematically and also sent it as part of a letter to Indira Gandhi during the time of Indira Gandhi, when Srila Prabhupada personally went to meet her. But it is also mentioned in Leelamrit. But it is mentioned that that was the time of turbulence after the emergency, when Indira Gandhi herself was dealing with quite a few challenges at the national level. And Prabhupada specifically writes that although I went to speak with her on some of the suggestions, what Srila Prabhupada had, how India could probably be, administration can be considered based on instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam, what we are going to read from Maharaj Yudhishthir's time. But she was very anxious about her own life because of the situation in the country at that point in time. Prabhupada mentioned that. And it is only few years after that meeting, we see that what was her fear did come true in a different form. But those points that Srila Prabhupada shared with the Prime Minister at that point in time, we do have those in written in Srila Prabhupada's own handwriting. So we can go through them at some time when we are there. And then we will also see what is Srila Prabhupada's mood and mission from these commentaries to the initial section of this particular chapter, and relevance of those instructions, guidelines by our founder Acharya for ISKCON as the society, as the institution, what all we can implement in running the society or even in our personal life. So we'll have some group activity today. This is we covered. So let's recite through text 1. 1 second. Oops. All right. Any devotee would like to recite the text? Prabhuji's, Mataji's, Hare Krishna. And those who want to recite, they can keep their hands on. So I will request subsequently. Anyone? All right. Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji. Yeah. So Shama Gopika Mataji, keep your hand on. I will request you for the next text. Yes, Dhanya Dhameshwari.
Shaunaka Uvacha.
Shaunaka Uvacha.
Sarigata Atatayeno.
Hatva Swariksham Spruda Patayino.
Yudhishthiro Dharma Pratham Varistitaha.
Yudhishthiro dharma pratam varishtaha
Sahanuja Pratvar Yudha Bhojanaha.
sahanujai pravarvarudha bhojanaha
Tatam pravritta kim akarishat tatha.
katham pravritta kim akarasishtaha.
Translation. You want to read? Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji. Translation.
Saunaka Muni asked, after killing his enemies who desired to usurp his rightful inheritance, how did the greatest of all the religious men, Maharaja Yudhishthira, assisted by his brothers, rule his subjects? Surely he could not really enjoy his kingdom with unrestricted consciousness.
Yes, so now we are going to the original conversation. Who is speaking here? Prabhuji's, Mataji's? First line, Shaunaka,
Shaunaka.
Shaunaka Rishi. And who is he inquiring from?
Sutta Goswami.
Sutta Goswami. So we go back to the earlier conversation where the sages of Naimisharanya led by Shaunaka Rishi are inquiring from Sutta Goswami. So the sages are referring to Yudhishthir Maharaj as Yudhishthiro Dharma Bhrutam Varishtaha. That in following the religious principle, Yudhishthir Maharaj was a Varishtha. Varishtha means he was the topmost, he was the greatest. So they were very sure that he would have led the kingdom in the most ideal manner as the ideal king, especially now that he had just been guided by Bhishmadev, his dear grandfather. So that was the inquiry by the sages of Naimisharanya. And the last line, Shaunaka Rishi says, surely he could not freely enjoy his kingdom with unrestricted consciousness. So this is quite a contrast to that means the rule had just started of a religious king who Lord Krishna desired to be on the throne, but it is mentioned that he would not have been able to enjoy his kingdom. Does anyone want to guess what would have been the reason why Yudhishthir Maharaj won't be able to freely enjoy the kingdom?
Same reason
What?
of chapter.
Because of the massacre happened, and then the family, all the person who takes care of the family also were lost in the massacre, and now the kids and the women protection, all those things are there. So
Yes.
totally the helpless situation for the subjects actually.
Yes, thank you. And moreover, Yudhishthir Maharaj was such a sensitive person that, we saw in the previous chapter that he himself was considering the guilt. And even though now that guilt is removed by Bhishmadev by explaining to Yudhishthir Maharaj how it was the will of the Lord, so on and so forth. But the fact remains that all those cousins and family members are no more. That means definitely it is not like he's not like a hard-skinned, thick-skinned person who would just go about enjoying doing his normal business even after losing the near and dear ones. So there is one very nice class by Srila Prabhupada in which he explains the situation. So anyone wants to read through? Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji, you want to continue to read?
Yes, Prabhu.
Text. Yeah, text one.
Why Yudhishthira Maharaj could not enjoy the results of his victory. He fought, therefore, for the right cause under the guidance of Lord Sri Krishna, but he could not enjoy the results of his victory because of his cousins were all killed in the fight. Of all the followers of religious principle, he is the foremost. So here, Yudhishthira Maharaja, Dharma Pratham Varistitara. Of all the followers of the religious principle, he is the foremost, Varistitara. So he was very sorry that for my sake, for enthroning me, so many people have given their lives. Therefore, in our Shastra, when you commit some necessary simple activities to counteract it, the fasting is recommended. Therefore, Yudhishthira Maharaj was observing fasting, taking little necessities. Therefore, Saunaka Muni is inquiring that Sahanuja Pratya Varudha Bojana Katham Pravattaha Kim Harsat Akarshit Tataha, that is 1.10.1. Then he was undergoing some prashita system. Then how did he take the reins of ruling over the kingdom? That was his inquiry, Saunaka Rishi. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So here, since I could not get a proper picture of Maharaj Yudhishthir's rule, I have just taken the pictures, some of which we have discussed earlier, but they convey the mood in which Maharaj Yudhishthir had taken over the reins of ruling the kingdom. So we'll come to that part after this text. So we'll go to text 2 first, and text number 1 to 4 we will also discuss as part of a group exercise, going through the purport and all. So for now, I won't go into the details of the purport. So in the text 2, we see how Lord Krishna was very satisfied after finally seeing Yudhishthir Maharaj not only enthroned as the king, but being able to convince Yudhishthir Maharaj to properly rule the kingdom after the instruction of Bhishmadev. So, Shama Gopika Mataji, you want to recite the verse?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Sutta uvacha Vamsham kururvamshadavagninirhritam
Vam
Ankurovam Shadavagninirhritam
samrohayitva bhavavano harihi
Samrohayitva bhavavano hari
niveshayitva nijarajya ishvaro
Niveshayitva Raja Ishvaro
Yudhishtiram Pritamana Babhuvaha
Yudhishtiram
Translation.
Translation Sutta Goswami said, Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of the world, became pleased after re-establishing Maharaj Yudhishthira in his own kingdom and after restoring the Kuru dynasty, which had been exhausted by the bamboo fire of anger.
Purport, you can read the complete purport. It's not too
Okay.
big.
Okay. Transcendental Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Sure.
This world is compared to a forest fire caused by the cohesion of bamboo bushes. Such a forest fire takes place automatically, for bamboo cohesion occurs without external cause. Similarly, in the material world, the wrath of those who want to lord it over material nature interacts, and the fire of war takes place, exhausting the unwanted population. Such fires or wars take place, and the Lord has nothing to do with them. But because He wants to maintain the creation, He desires the mass of people to follow the right path of self realization, which enables the living beings to enter into the kingdom of God. The Lord wants the suffering human beings to come back home, back to Him, and cease to suffer the threefold material pang. The whole plan of creation is made in that way, and the one who does not come to his senses suffers in the material world by pangs inflicted by the illusory energy of the Lord. The Lord therefore wants his bona fide representative to rule the world. Lord Sri Krishna descended to establish this sort of regime and to kill the unwanted persons who have nothing to do with his plan. The battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of the Lord, so that the undesirable persons could get out of the world and a peaceful kingdom under his devotee could be established. The Lord was therefore fully satisfied with when King Yudhishthira was on the throne and the seedling of the dynasty of Kuru in the person of Maharaj Parikshit was saved. Hare Krishna. This text, Hare Krishna. Prabhu, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So this text also needs to read through. This text?
Okay, Mataji, you can read.
Okay. So, Bhava Bhavana, Krishna. This world is created by Krishna and he wants to see it is properly maintained. And who will maintain? His own representative, not the demons. Therefore, king is supposed to be a representative of Krishna. He will maintain this world properly. A Vaishnava, he knows how to utilize everything for Krishna. The aim of this creation is giving these conditioned souls another chance for liberation. That is the purpose. When he saw now Maharaj Yudhishthir is situated on the throne for the control of the world, he, Pritamana Babhuvaha, he became satisfied. There is my real representative and he will work nicely. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Mataji. So this is from Srila Prabhupada's, one of the classes Srila Prabhupada gave on this verse in Mayapur. So we see that this entire battle of Kurukshetra culminating in enthroning of Pandavas led by Yudhishthir Maharaj as the ruler of the entire world. was something that Krishna personally desired. And Bhagavatam mentions it black and white now, how he was very much satisfied finally after seeing Yudhishthir Maharaj enthroned on the kingdom, on the throne. And Yudhishthir Maharaj's last remaining successor at that particular point in time of the Pandava, of the Kuru dynasty, Parikshit Maharaj also saved. So that was, and why Lord specifically wanted that is also mentioned on a high level, but in the subsequent text, this text we will have as part of the group discussion activity. So now we will have breakout rooms. Let me, Vipin Vilas Prabhu, you had raised your hand. You wanted to add something or ask something?
No, Prabhuji, further sloka.
Text. Sure. I'll request you 1 second. So now what we need to do is go through the purport we just went through for text 2. Also, as part of the group activity, go through the purport for text 3, and where the ideal ruling of the kingdom by Yudhishthir Maharaj and some of the principles that Yudhishthir Maharaj followed. Now, since the text is important, before we begin the group activity, we'll quickly go through the text once, all of us, and we will also see what are the 2 important words that are mentioned in this verse by Suta Goswami about Maharaj Yudhishthir's rule. So, Vipin Vilas Prabhu, you want to recite this text, text 3?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Text 3. Nisamya Bhismoktama Athatyuktam
Nishamya
Avrutta Vijnana Vibhuta Vibhramaha Sashashagamindra Ivajitasraya Paridyupanta Manujanuvarjitaha
Translation, Prabhuji.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Maharaja Yudhishthira, after being enlightened by what was spoken by Bhishma Deva and Lord Sri Krishna, the infallible, engaged himself in the matters of perfect knowledge. Because all his misgivings were eradicated, thus he ruled over the earth and seas and was followed by his younger brothers.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So specifically, the 2 words which are very significant in this verse are Bhishmoktam Atha Achyutoktam. That means this was the basis of Yudhishthir Maharaj rule over the kingdom. What do these words mean? Bhishmoktam means based on the instructions and guidance that he had received from Srila Bhishmadev and from Achyuta, Lord Krishna. So that was what was spoken by Bhishmadev and also what was spoken by the infallible Lord Krishna. So that 2 were the basis for Yudhishthir Maharaj rule over the kingdom. And the details of this are mentioned as part of the purport. All of you can go through. There are many important points in this purport. So do proper justice, not too long purport, but very important one. And coming back to the group activity, what we need to do is list some of the aspects of the world situation that are mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in this text 3 purport based on Maharaj Yudhishthir's reign. That what we can learn from his reign of the world, of his rule of the world, which we can consider as an ideal for today. And second is specifically in ISKCON institution, have we come across any such great leader where the whole society, where the whole community or congregation flourished because of the exemplary leadership of such a personality? Based on our own experience, And from that personalities, from that leaders, management, from that leaders leading from the front, what was the situation? What principles do we observe in that person's leadership? Specifically, we are talking about the ISKCON institution. In the case scenario where a devotee does not have experience enough of the devotee congregation, you can mention from external world, from your office, etc. And what principles of true leadership we can jot down and present as part of the group presentation. So two things we would expect whoever is presenting on behalf of the group. What all we can learn from Maharaj Yudhishthir's rule, which we can consider as ideal for today's world, and the principles of leadership, what a true leader should have. What do the subjects in general feel most inspired by? Is it clear, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, clear. Hare Krishna.
All right. So how many devotees? 35. So we'll make around 4 groups and we'll have 1 or 2 devotees from each group to present. Hare Krishna. And time right now it is 1:24. So 10:54 India time. So take about 10-12 minutes. So 4 or 5 minutes to go through the purport and 6 to 8 minutes to discuss amongst the group members. And then we come back to the main meeting room. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bro, I'm not assigned to any group.
I did assign, 1 second, let me manually assign Mataji.
Sure, Prabhu. There are few of us are here, about 6 of us, like Gita.
Let me check how it did not pick all of you. 1 second.
Sure, Prabhu. How are you feeling better, Prabhu?
Yeah, Mataji, like I don't know, lot of coughing is happening in between.
After class, immediately have a half spoon of honey.
Honey, yes, Mataji. Honey and black pepper. How can I not find your name in the participant list?
I'm also.
See, in the participants, I can only find Radhika Ratnanga Mataji, but not you. Why? 1 second.
No problem. Can I simply join randomly one?
Yes, join Mataji. Join group 1 where we have less devotees here.
Sure, I'm sure. Thanks for Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, the time was sufficient or devotees had to rush?
Yes, Prabhu, the time was sufficient.
Okay.
Prabhu, I think we missed to take the second question actually, and then we were not able to conclude that what answer we need to prepare. Sorry for that.
No issue. So maybe, yeah, while everybody joining, just identify your group members, and if you want to discuss a point or two, that is fine, ma'am. If you feel that will help in concluding.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, group 1 is ready. Priyadarshini Mataji will be presenting, and Priyadarshini Mataji was the only sole contributor in our group. None of us did any justice, so I think we'll call her on now, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
We should all see the purpose of the breakout room activities is to make sure
all of us talk. Sure.
Yeah. So because Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Atul Krishna Prabhu's vision, Namanishta Prabhuji's vision is it should not be a class.
Sure.
It should be individual contribution from all devotees.
True.
Right? Yeah.
Sorry, Prabhu. Yeah, Priyadarshini Mataji has done that.
So okay, just before I call upon Prema Priya Jayashri Mataji, Dhanya Dhameshwari Mataji, your group wants to conclude on few points.
No, Prabhu.
We'll begin.
Even
Okay.
we also had the same issue, Prabhu. Only 2 persons only spoke.
No, you specifically jot down the names. Let me see who is not speaking. Then that we have to go to Namanishta Prabhuji, because everybody should contribute.
No, this time was an exception, Prabhu. Usually everybody contributes.
That,
I'm not very sure because of exam, nobody prepared, or I'm not very sure.
yeah, so fine. See, even if
Not
they
justified.
haven't prepared, but 10-12 minutes we are getting during
Sure.
this. So which is true, good enough to go through the purport and come up. Just one point before everybody starts presentation. It is explained that we learn only 25% on our own when we read, 25% when we hear. Maximum learning happens when we exchange the realization, the understanding. So we are losing out on expanding our scope of realizations if we don't discuss. Right? So let's start with Prema Priya Jayashri Mataji. 1 second. Let me pin your chat. 1 second, Mataji. And we are quite thankful. See, some of these devotees, Prema Priya Jayashri Mataji has been a professor earlier on when you were working. Prema Priya Mataji, is it?
Yes, Prabhuji, I was saying.
But see, it helps so much, and we are so thankful to devotees like Prema Priya Jayashri Mataji, Vandita Tunga Vidya Mataji. Look at their enthusiasm, and all the youngster devotees should derive inspiration from them. If we have this type of enthusiasm, then Krishna will be very eager as well to grant his mercy. Look at P.S. Murthy Prabhu, how much healthly challenges Prabhuji has, but still he is participating so actively. So we should, all of us, we should as well. Yes, Prema Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. We have seen in the last chapter, 9th chapter, it obviously Yudhishthira had proved himself as a great monarch. He's not like the monarchs of these days. Actually, he cared for his citizens. He wanted them to, he solved all their social, economical, political, and spiritual problems. He helped them with their upliftment. We already have seen that. Now, in this particular shloka, what I observed was, he was highly enlightened. Initially, he was bewildered, but then later, through after being counseled by his great grandfather and Lord himself, was highly enlightened. And he became so enlightened that he was able to, he perfected all the knowledge. He not only ruled over the earth, he also ruled over the seas, actually. And he was such a wonderful, not only a monarch, and as a brother also, was such a respected brother. He was, on the whole, of course, obviously, son of Yamaraja. He should be, there's no doubt he should have been that. But then all his brothers followed him very religiously. Just and his rule was so great, it was comparable only to the rule of Lord Indra, and of course, like the demigods.
All the point that you are mentioning, Mataji, let us take one conclusion. So when you say that he was accepted by all his brothers and other kings, that means universal acceptability is one of the important principle of leadership, successful leadership.
Comparable to that of the Lord Indra, and then Chandra, Surya, Varuna, and all of them. And he was knowledge. And
yes,
the present day leaders.
The second point I want to add, Prabhuji,
Please.
one king should not have his own ideology. Rather,
Yes.
he should rule by the Shastras.
Yeah, he should rule by the Shastras, and whatever ideals he's following based on Shastra, he should be able to convince the subjects on the importance of it. That means take everyone together. It should not be an autocratic way of ruling. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So autocratic, don't take this word from the modern sense. Prabhupada also uses at one place the word autocratic in his purport, but he uses in positive connotation, not in a negative connotation. Yes, Mataji, please proceed.
Yeah, I think he did mention that Prabhuji, that he had nothing. He instructed in the Shastras also say the same thing. They say that you should follow great authority, and you should not use your own ideologies, bring in there. And he did it very perfectly. Though he had his own intelligence, he never tried to show off. He was very humble and very modest in accepting that. I think that's what I would have done. And then you had mentioned one thing, Prabhuji, in ISKCON, whom you think is shall
Yeah.
we add?
So yeah,
include that here,
whichever
or you want?
case, yeah, you can include that. Whichever case, whichever personality you are describing, explain very specific traits from their leadership, which really bring about that satisfaction and contentment and inspiration in the followers. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, for me, it is our Guru Maharaj, Jayapataka Swami Prabhuji. It all is, it actually, what is mentioned about Bhishma Deva here, the religionist who he does not care for his body. And he is he's very sound in mind, in speech. And he's able to do what one can do physically through the words. And so that was exactly what our Guru Maharaj is doing. It's a personal experience. I have not spoken at all with him. Of course, his inspiration, Mahamantra, when he says, I get so inspired. And recently something happened which I would like to share. I was getting off the track in spirituality. I just wrote a message on WhatsApp. There's no reply, but it was seen, I know. Then I repeated, please reply. I want this. I cannot say, it's very personal, my reasons. And I was feeling not happy with what I was doing. And surprisingly, the very next day, my life has changed. He has not answered me. I have not spoken to him. Then my life is, there is a paradigm change in my life. And I'm more on the spiritual path now. And I'm very grateful to Guru Maharaj for it.
Thank you.
Personal experience.
So what we can derive from what you just described, first point is leading by example. There is a saying in English, actions speak louder than words. So in case of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, as Mataji mentioned, that not caring for his own health, he is always worried about the well-being of ISKCON as an overall institution and spiritual growth of the congregation of devotees. And he's so much always giving. We have seen numerous examples from the hospital when his whole own health is deteriorating and doctors are recommending various measures. Many of the times, first question Maharaj asks is, will he be able to preach with that new arrangement, whatever the doctors are proposing? So that shows what is his priority, what is his concern, giving more priority even than his own health, giving priority for others' well-being. Thank you, Prema Priya Mataji.
Prabhu, sorry for interrupting. Just a quick doubt before you take. Prabhu, when you're asking this kind of a question, should we stick to people like Jayapataka Swami Maharaj only, or we can even share our experience like Namanishta Prabhu or someone?
Yeah, you can give very well even example from a smaller community, smaller scenario. It could even be somebody conducting a Sangha or Bhakti Vraksha in the local center. So main important thing is the principle, what we can learn from their leadership.
Understood, Prabhu. Sure.
Hare Krishna.
Finally, if everybody finishes, I will talk about NND Prabhu, connecting this.
Yes, ma'am. So you were part of which group, Mataji?
Group 1 only, Prabhu.
Group 1. Okay, same group as Prema Priya Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
So we'll request you in the end then. Okay?
That is what I said. I'll go with that.
Sure. So there was one more hand raised. Prema Prakash Haridas Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, you want to add?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhupada has given us a beautiful explanation of Yudhishthira ruling the universe and the 7 seas. And the way it has been explained is so fascinating that his own brothers are ruling different parts of it, and also the 7 seas, and all the people down the line of responsibilities. But ultimately, Prabhupada explains that Yudhishthira had been a representative of the Lord Krishna. And so the orders were coming from that infallible, whose orders and dictates would always be absolutely perfect. Then the Prabhupada switches over and says that today's world, we are all fallible and we are the only people taking decisions and not really correlating with the infallibles. And this disconnection has led us to all the different issues that we have. I think it's very well explained.
Yeah, so which means the decisions are being made without referring to the higher authorities. There is no council of the qualified persons to guide the king. And the king or many of the leaders themselves who are chosen in the democratic system, their own qualification is not being checked. It is simply because of people choosing any particular person. So, yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Anything else from group 1? If not, we move to group 2.
Yeah.
So who will be the devotees?
One more.
Yes,
One,
Murli Prabhu.
one more, Prabhuji. Just adding one point to your final part is that the training for the king, that was very importantly mentioned in the purport also. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was not only knew what Bhishma and Achyuta told, but he was also trained all his life to be a king and how to be a king and how to treat his subjects. This is lacking in today's world. That is one of the, and that is what makes us infallible.
Yes, Prabhuji. And all of
Fallible,
you will
sorry, not infallible, fallible.
all of you will be pleasantly surprised that one of those 13 points that I mentioned in Prabhupada's diary, he recommends that all the MPs, that means members of parliament, a person should be allowed to contest for an MP position only if he is minimum Brahmana qualified in terms of the qualifications given in Bhagavad Gita, Shama, Dama, Tapa, Shaucha, Arjava, Aistikya, and so on and so forth. So
Yes.
this is a practical application of what do we mean by qualification for a person to be a leader. Hare Krishna.
Hare
So
Krishna.
we go to group 2. Who will be the devotees from group 2?
Prabhuji, myself, Gunashri Mataji, Mangalam Mataji, Lalita Mataji.
All of you will present.
Ananda Prada. They have, I think, only myself, Gunashri Mataji and Vivek Prabhuji, only we three only discussed Prabhuji actually. So what are the points has been spoken by the group 1? Along with that, I think we have in this purport, if the person has mentioned the quality of the person who is ruling, if they adhere to the regulatory principles and the advice of the authorities, the world will be in the peace, and then the subjects will be in the very good, they will be in the very good position. Whereas if it is ruled by the current situation, it has been like in one of the purposes of the previous chapter, it has been mentioned by Sudras, having that 4 qualities. I am not able to recollect, only 3 I am able to: low born, ill-trained, and bad association. One more I am not able to recollect actually. So such type of situation only is currently we are seeing here in the whatever the democratic or a communism, whatever it may be, the ruling things happening here. So that's the reason we are easily falling off back. So whereas Yudhishthira Maharaj was guided by Bhishma Deva and Lord Supreme Lord Krishna. So that's why along with this, and the cabinet ministers also the qualification. So that was also that advice also was given by Bhishma Deva that time. So wherein this entire world was ruled by him in a very good manner. But now it is not like that. That was something I will tell. Second question we missed out, to be frank. So we were not able to prepare much. So that's it.
Okay. Thank you. And group 3, who will be the devotees?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'll be presenting Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We in group 3, like all of us discussed, all were contributing their points. So Prabhuji, first of all, for Maharaj Yudhishthir, like Maharaj Yudhishthir had no personal ideology, hidden agenda or motives. and that's why he was able to rule the kingdom perfectly. And also he followed the instructions given by Lord Krishna and Bhishma Deva. And Maharaj Yudhishthir was only interested about the people's welfare. So he would take all the measures for the people's welfare. And there was a full cooperation between Maharaj Yudhishthir and his younger brothers. And that's what made him like ideal king. And also there is one more point, Prabhu, like because he knew like he was a self-realized person, and that's why he was able to encourage the citizens also to become self-realized. So
Yes.
and
Thank you. Yes,
yeah.
Mataji.
Yeah, and the second part, Prabhu, where we are talking about the example. So the best example we can see is obviously like Srila Prabhupada, who followed like exactly like what his guru told, and as per the guru parampara. And Srila Prabhupada also like insisted on being self-realized. So he wanted all the leaders to be self-realized, so that the same can be imparted to the followers as well. And in ISKCON, we see that leaders are like trained on dharmic principles based on Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And then there is no political interference that affects like ISKCON mostly. And then like in different ISKCON leaders also like cooperate with each other without selfish motives, and that's what makes like ISKCON like grow. And we see that Prabhu like the leaders do practice what they preach. They are good in sadhana, and they are inspirational, and they are role models.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am. So
and
many
personally, I
points.
can take example of like Devaki Nandan Prabhu in our like Gita society. Yeah.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
So many points Mataji mentioned, and I have just tried to keep pace with whatever Mataji was saying. So first is again leading by example. And in case of Srila Prabhupada, there is also a very wonderful book where each of the 26 qualities of the pure devotee that are mentioned in Bhagavatam, anecdotes or incidents are mentioned from Srila Prabhupada's real life, how he demonstrated that particular quality of a pure devotee through that particular action or his interaction. So it is very important. And second thing, one important point Mataji mentioned is there should not be politics. And this we have heard from many leaders within our movement, within the ISKCON institution, that whenever politics enters into any community of devotees or any initiative that we are taking, then the whole thing gets spoiled. Srila Prabhupada has also spoken on it many times. Our goal is to support everyone, inspire everyone towards the path, towards Krishna. And that goal, somebody may be householder, somebody may be a bachelor student, a brahmachari, somebody may be vanaprastha, retired, and so on and so forth. Or somebody like many of us in this group as well. So many of us are from different spiritual masters, belong to different spiritual masters. Shama Gopika Mataji, she is disciple of Romapad Swami Maharaj. I am disciple of Radhanath Swami Maharaj. But it doesn't matter. What matters is when we see a common goal. That common goal is to please the authority who is in charge in that particular center, in that particular community. And if we do that, just like Bhagavatam mentions, if we water the root of the tree, all the branches, leaves, flowers, twigs, everything will automatically be satisfied. Once we bring politics, he's mine, he's not mine. Prahlad Maharaj says that is the mentality of that is a demoniac mentality. Devotee's mentality is never everything. Devotee sees as part and parcel of Krishna. So not bringing politics is very important for a leader. To not let politics come within the group of devotees. Hare Krishna. Any other important point did I miss, Shama Gopika Mataji, from what you mentioned?
And Prabhu, like leaders should also, they should also encourage the self-realization in their
Self-realization.
to be
Yes. And Mataji also mentioned about Achar and Prachar, that means we should keep our sadhana good, our participation in the temple initiatives programs good, then we can participate in services. So health, sadhana and service, all these three should go hand in hand. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you, Mother.
Thank you, sir.
Now we'll go to the last group, which is group 4. Who will be the devotees?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Vipin Vilas. 1 second.
Adidev Prabhu and Reena Mataji, I remember.
Sure. So they will also be presenting, Reena Mataji and Adidev Prabhu. Shall I pin there?
I told, but okay, I will start. Mostly Mataji has covered most of the points actually, and previous group leaders already covered. Just I want to highlight one point, because this, if you compare the democracy versus the king, like our old time, so it is not possible with the democracy. Like Srila Prabhupada also sometimes telling democracy means demon got crazy. So that is, so we cannot expect the person who is selected by in the democracy will be he will follow the Guru Sadhu Shastra or maybe capable. So this is one point we have discussed this one. And another point, in world also there are two power centers, like different ideology, and accordingly there are always there is a tug of war for the who is supreme, who is having the more power. So instead of this like previous, whole the world is ruled by the one king only. So that is not possible nowadays, because of everyone is having their own ambition. So that is also we have discussed. And the main thing, the practical example already we have told. So we can take the example of Namanishtadas Prabhu also, because the main thing, they have the firm faith in their instruction of the Guru Maharaj, same like Srila Prabhupada having the faith of their Guru Maharaj instruction, same way Namanishtadas Prabhu also, and our Guru Maharaj Jayapataka Swami Maharaj also. So all are having the 100% faith in their own spiritual master. And as per the instruction of this spiritual master, Namanishtadas Prabhu has started this Gita 18 before 4 years. So, and we are the product of that only. And the main thing, it's a lead by example. So because of Namanishtadas Prabhu's, he is having firm faith in ourselves, ours. We are not qualified at that time, but still he has given the full freedom and platform. Okay, you preach, and now at least so many teachers also developed here. So these also maybe Mataji throw more light on Namanishtadas Prabhuji. So I think we have concluded.
Thank you, Vipin Vilas Prabhuji. Reena Mataji, you want to add?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji has told, but only one thing I want to add here. Srila Prabhupada, like whenever he meets any of his disciple, he used to identify the whatever skill they have, and he used to encourage them. For example, Jadurani, like she was not perfect artist, but he encouraged Jadurani to write the pictures of Krishna and other related pictures and to exhibit in the temple. So like that, Namanishtadas Prabhuji also, like we are like most of us are not capable, but like he identified like many devotees, and he encouraged us so that like we are doing little service by his mercy, Prabhuji. That we can tell. I can tell Prabhuji.
Thank you, Reena Mataji. And the last point Mataji mentioned is so relevant. I recollect when we were about to start Bhakti Shastri, Prabhuji asked me to start conducting one in Hindi. And although I understand Hindi, can speak as well, but I was very uncomfortable speaking Hindi fluently. So first Bhakti Shastri, when I conducted in Hindi, I remember my wife is a Hindi teacher. So I made her sit beside me so that if I get stuck somewhere at some word or a sentence, then she would help me. But then later on, after a year or so of conducting, I asked my wife that, am I able to speak fluently now? And she said, yes, it's all nice. And I immediately remembered Namanishta Prabhuji, that our qualification is the mercy that we have from the authorities. And that mercy, if we try to follow their instruction, that mercy will also follow. So thank you for sharing that, Reena Mataji. Hare Krishna. Any, Radhika Mataji wanted to add something. You said you want to say something in the end.
Prabhu, no, Prabhu. I just wanted to talk about Namnishta Prabhu. So I think, it's a combination. I'll just quickly shorten because it's a very important thing about him. So the first thing is vision and foresight, a very important thing which a leader should have. And we'll see him very clearly. I think a 20-year of vision is coming in light today, which is the temple, right? And second is intelligence. I think he literally has intelligence focused in all area. As a professional IIT, he's not only putting his head there, not just in spirituality, but every line. He never brags himself as a engineer or something, but he still asks us, what can I do for computer? That shows his humbleness in spite of a combination of intelligence. Communication skill is not about language. I still remember he coming to Tamil class and talking to each of the devotees without understanding a word of Tamil. Right. So that, and I'm sure he gets into many other languages like Gujarati and all of them. That's communication, not knowing a language and yet communicating. Objective, very clear. Every meeting has an objective. His agenda is clear. He drives very clearly. Knowledge of work, he knows what has to be done, and he also knows what we can do. So it's like Paramatma in everybody's heart. He knows exactly what we can do, which most of us don't know. And in my case, first time, he wanted me to back up chapter 7 when I've never done Bhagavad Gita. And one of my teachers said, I'm not even sending a presentation. You should learn to tell no, you won't be able to do it. And Devika Shetty was very kind to tell that I will share meanwhile. And NND Prabhu said, don't worry, if you get stuck, tell Krishna, Krishna, because that's my code line. When I get stuck, I can't get Hare Krishna, I get Krishna, Krishna. So he was so down to earth to tell what will actually work for you best. And that is when I started. And second thing is responsibility. He takes responsibility for anything going wrong. When we get stuck or something, he doesn't put the responsibility. He takes it at the front end. The self-confidence which he has, I think nobody can really beat the amount of self-confidence, because pan-India, I think we are the largest in terms of number of languages, in terms of the platform and all that. Appearance, very down to earth. He will sit on the platform, he'll sit in the chair, he will sit in AC, he will sit anywhere and take class. And willpower, I don't know. I think a big learning as to what kind of thing which goes into his head, that strength which makes him talk when you're sick, and very humane, very down to earth. My first trip when he made me the Yatra leader, I was sick out of 4 days, 2 days. And someone said they will back up. And he said, no, Radhika is the leader, she will do. And I did nothing. In spite of that tension on the first Yatra, Mayapur, he comes and tells me, are you okay? Which is like tremendous, which I don't think anybody can remember at that time. Kindness and understanding, absolutely kind. Absolutely kind. Though exteriorly, he may yell, shout, everything. It is like the example which we saw that the father, the mother-in-law teaches the daughter. I think is a classic example. Many times, he will be telling me, don't do this. And I'll be thinking, I've never spoken at all. So then I'll understand, okay, this is not for me, right? This is for somebody else. And the kindness and understanding, no way. And even when there was a situation when a couple of them actually told I won't be a good teacher, when he hardly knew me, he just said, get your video on. People are telling you're a great person. I want to see your face. And I knew nothing. But he just brought me into limelight. And he also fought with people telling that, you are the people who should support her, which I barely know her. Hereafter, I will be your guru, I will be your teacher. Every time you will write my name and you will start your journey. I think this is like getting a dream of not just me, but a lot of people in this platform, and also trying to connect dots. We never know you. We never knew you also, to be honest, Pran Chaitanya Prabhu. Sorry to say this, but in Bhakti Shastri, when you first came, we were not even sure who you are, because I've never seen through your class. And to have that class, but then, today we are looking forward for your class. This is like a totally unidentified, I'm not telling person or something, but he brought a resource from wherever to give best for us. So and even though he did not know Bhakti Vaibhav, then when we started this course, he scaled himself up to get the certificate of Bhakti Vaibhav. And, you're teaching us. So thank you, and thanks to him, and thanks to everybody for this. So I just thought I'll use this term.
Thank you. So many points Rasarangini Mataji brought out, very, very important, starting with the leader having a vision. When nobody sees what is there in the future, the leaders have a complete, clear idea, not even a part of it. They have complete clarity. And in case of Namanishta Prabhu, like, not sure if all the devotee members here have seen the temple which was in a row house earlier, a bungalow, a small bungalow. So sitting in that where the temple hall was within the hall of that bungalow, nobody would have envisioned having a grand temple. Now, whoever has seen the new temple won't even feel that at one particular time the temple was based in a house. So, but Namanishta Prabhu had that vision, had that belief that with the support from all the devotee community, it is possible. And the faith that the leader is able to show in his, basically his group of devotees, that whether we are qualified, whether we are not, but at least our strength is they having faith in us. Thank you, Rasarangini Mataji, for sharing.
Absolutely, Prabhuji. Radhika Mataji is very right, Prabhuji. I second her. I vouch for what she said.
Thank you.
Everyone has been molded by him actually, and he has given with faith. That means without any discrimination. So those type of things we should learn from him. Very compassionate to us. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been in this platform, Prabhuji. So,
sorry, Prabhu, and the irony to connect Dharnishri Mataji in this, sorry for on this, is when we launched Tamil, I think she was only one whom we told to launch Tamil. And so I just called her to tell, is there any help, you need? She said, I need all the help. I don't know anything. And I didn't even know Tamil. I cannot even speak Tamil fluently. So, and then he told, so this is just not possible. And the funniest thing is when Guru Maharaj was coming for initiation, we had to take, Prabhu says that, we've decorated this hall, but Guru Maharaj is coming on the first floor, Radhika. Can you go and decorate that place? I said, I'm really not good in, he said, figure that out. And when I go there, it's like a barren land. And the only person who was there is Dharnishri ma'am. And a pound of flowers, nothing to decorate. But then I think with his blessings, we were able to really draw a big rangoli with a stick, not broomstick, but that curry leaf stick. That was the only thing left and we could do. So all this idea came to us because of his blessings, Prabhu. So I just thought, and Dharnishri ma'am managed to get 6 people to do flowers and all that. And when he came, just 15-20 minutes we had, and we were able to decorate that place. I think he brought out things which we were not capable of. So that is one thing which I thought I'll tell you, at least from my side. Thank you, Prabhu. Sorry for taking a lot of time.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, I too totally like with what Baji said. Even like I remember, actually, I'm sorry for like if I'm disturbing, but the thing is, like, I also still got remembered when he told me to take the Mridanga class, and then he phoned me, and actually Prabhuji had a plan, like a clear plan. He told me in 1 month you have to finish the course, and he had a clear vision. He's like, it will be so nice if all the teachers who take class, if they can start the class with kirtan and playing Mridanga. So like, he had a clear vision, like, and even he told me that you have to finish in 1 month. Like, he had everything ready, like the whole plan, everything. And I'm not qualified to teach. He tried to teach something. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
He has more faith in us than we have in ourselves, Prabhuji.
Yes. So, thank you all, Prabhujis, Matajis. Now, after sitting and speaking for long, I'm just having more pain. So I'll conclude from my side. So now we conclude the first part of the first section of chapter 10, which is Lord Krishna's departure. We haven't even started with the departure. We covered the principles of ideal leadership from the example of Yudhishthir Maharaj, the basis of his leadership, and also based on the details that Srila Prabhupada has given in the purport and few real life examples from our own understanding experience within ISKCON as the institution. So the Bhakti Vaibhav session for today we will conclude. Do any devotees have any other points to add or any questions, queries? If not, I will request Rasarangini Mataji to continue with the unit test.
Prabhuji, was there a possibility of taking this exam next some other time also?
Okay, so yeah, if you feel it will take a bit longer for you, and then I will leave it to Rasarangini Mataji if we are able to conduct it next Saturday.
1 hour, I can, right now if they want, some of them join late, I'm totally fine staying here.
Okay.
But if they can't do it, then it's a different call.
Sure.
Can stop the recording, Mataji.
Prabhuji, are you in the temple hall?
No, right now I am in the office, temple office. We managed to open it.
More time, Prabhuji.
Hmm?
Okay, Prabhu.
Okay, Rasarangini Mataji, you can stop recording. I can't see the option here.
Because you are the host.